For a lot of people, this is really unfamiliar territory, being stuck at home, right, Joe? And so it's easy, I guess. I mean, you're a musician and a writer and a businessman. If people have a block about that, is there a way of getting around that to actually try that process?
Well, I love the question. I hope you don't mind a self-serving moment here, but I'm going to say one of my new books is called The Art and Science of Results. And I'm bringing it up because the subtitle, The Nine Most Powerful Ways to Clear Blocks, is a lead in to what you just asked me. Like these people are at home, they want to actually do something, but maybe they have a block to doing it. So let's look at that for a second. What I like to do is explore those blocks. I certainly know fear. You mentioned me as a musician. It was only 6.5 years ago that I decided I wanted to be a musician. It was on my bucket list. I looked around when I turned the age of 60, 6.5 years ago, and said, what else do I want to do? And I thought, well, I always wanted to record music, but I didn't sing. I never sang in the shower. I never did karaoke, didn't sing behind the wheel of the car. I didn't know how to write songs. I knew 3 chords on a guitar, and I knew how to play the harmonica. I didn't know how to play the saxophone. Didn't have a band, didn't know how to go in the recording studio, but I decided, and this is the teaching moment here. I decided I'm going to be a recording musician. So people sitting at home, the first thing you have to do is decide, what is it that you would like to do? I want to make money from home. I want to learn a language. I want to play an instrument. I want to learn how to bake cookies. I don't know, whatever it is. But the very first thing is you set an intention, like I did, to be a musician. Here's the next thing that happens that most people don't acknowledge and they don't like. Fear sets in, and it did for me. I'm going to be a musician. I don't know how to sing. I don't know how to play the guitar. What if I am the worst in the history of the world? What if I ruined my reputation as an author, self-help, spiritual, whatever? What if people look at me as doing the musician thing as one of those, loser awards that you get on America's Most Idol or whatever that thing was called years ago? And what if I just make a complete fool of myself? Every one of those fears. And Brian, look at 60-year-old man who was in the movie The Secret, who has written 80-some books, who is considered a self-help authority, who knows how to clear blocks, is being frozen by fear. So it's not unusual for somebody sitting at home saying to themselves, well, I want to do something, but I'm afraid. Guess what? We all get afraid when we want to do something we've never done before. It's called leaving our comfort zone. Our comfort zone feels comfortable because we've been living in it for quite a while. I've said that if I wanted to climb a mountain or go across the glacier or something, and I decided that this was going to be my intention, I swear to God, I'm going to be scared because I don't know how to do it. So what did I do? I knew to use some of the clearing techniques that I talk about in the book, and I'm going to reveal one of them right here, to explore my own beliefs. And one of them is just simply questioning the beliefs. I'll give you a great story and a great example. When I wanted to be a musician and I'm a nervous wreck about it, I almost gave it up. But I thought, how can I give up my own dream? What kind of a teacher would I be if that got out? And so I decided, no, I'm going to do this. Somehow, some way, I have to get past my fears. And I took a songwriting workshop that was a very small, intimate gathering outside of Austin, Texas. And Ray Wiley Hubbard and Kevin Welch were the 2 teachers. And I remember Ray Wiley Hubbard saying he still got nervous whenever he tried to write a new song, whenever he was going to perform. He's been on Letterman when it was around and a few other things. He said, but he learned to ask himself a question. And this is the question I want to give everybody that's sitting at home. It's the question I also gave myself. The question was from Ray Wiley Hubbard. And he said, you ask yourself, where is the proof that you can't do this? Where is the proof that you can't do this? In my case, where was the proof that I couldn't learn how to sing? Where was the proof that I couldn't learn how to write a song? Where was the proof that I couldn't learn how to gather a band together? Where was the proof that I couldn't go into a recording studio and actually record my own music with me as the lead singer, lead guitar player, and a band supporting me? Where was the proof? There was none. And when I realized there was none, a lot of the fear, a lot of the limiting beliefs and negativity collapsed because I took its foundation away. It's that unknown. And people sitting at home when they're thinking, well, I'm going to make money at home or I'm going to develop a product or a service, It's the unknown that makes them nervous. But if you ask yourself, where's the proof that I can't do this? The honest answer is there is no proof. And with that one belief taken away, you can proceed. Now, the punchline for me is 6.5 years later, I've recorded 15 albums, 6 of them singer-songwriter albums, some of them in Rolling Stone magazine, some of them nominated for the Grammys of Positive Music called the Posy Award. And I studied with Melissa Etheridge. My drummer is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I have a band that is amazing quality. And none of this is to brag. All of this is to say I went from 6.5 years ago going, I want to be a musician, then collapsing in fear, then removing the fear by questioning the limiting beliefs, and then proceeding to create 15 albums in that much time. Anything is possible. Anybody watching can do something right where they're sitting.
People can get through this and start to see when their fears come up and say, oh, that's the fear. Last time I did that, I proved I could get through it. Then they can be really powerful in many ways. And on that same note, Joe, I will be launching my music career in the next year as well. Just want to put that out there.
All right, I can't wait.
I've never told anyone that, but I've been in the background. I've been playing with some hip hop tracks, and I turn 50 next year. So what the hell, I'm inspired by you, Joe. Joe, a lot of people.
Wait a minute. Don't jump off of this topic here.
Okay, good.
This whole thing about fear, about you going into music, about me confessing that I was afraid. We really want to look at fear. And one of the things that I have done is play out what we're afraid of in our imagination. For example, when I got to the point where I performed on stage with my band, and my band has 60 years worth of experience, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, blah, blah, blah. My first time to be on stage as a singer-songwriter was terrifying. And one of the things I did as my prep for it is I would imagine, well, what's the worst that could happen? And of course, things like forgetting my songs, playing off key, forgetting how to play the guitar, fainting on stage, being booed. I mean, I went through everything. And I remember asking myself, should that happen, can you survive afterwards? Will you still be okay? Well, I thought, yeah. I don't want that to happen. I don't prefer that to happen. But if it happens, yeah, of course I'll be okay. Even right now, I'm not speaking because my speaking engagements and travel and all that have been postponed and canceled. I'm supposed to be in Europe for 3 months. All of that is on hold and delayed because of this virus. But whenever I would get on stage, especially when there were some big crowds, I spoke in Peru, there were 19,000 people there. Yes, I was afraid. I'm speaking live to 19,000 people on a stage. I have a police escort. I've got an entourage. I've got unimaginable crowds all around me. Kiss had performed on the same stage the week before, which gives you an idea of the colossal nature of this. Here I am going to speak live in front of these people, largest audience at that time ever in my life. And I was afraid. So what did I do before I went on stage? I did what some of the ancient Stoics had recommended. They do a negative visualization as opposed to a positive one, which sounds shocking to all the law of attraction junkies, but this is actually very useful. And what they would do is imagine the worst. And so I sat before going on stage in front of 19,000 people and said to myself, and I did the same thing before going on stage as a singer-songwriter for the first time with my band live, and role played. Okay, the whole thing bombs. They hate me. I forget my lines. They don't like me. And I know it. Can I come back to my room and still like myself? Can I come back to my room and still love myself? Can I come back to my room and continue on with my life? And the answers were all yes. Part of that reality is we take away the pain of it by already assuming, well, we can survive it. I don't want it, but should it happen, we can survive it. So we take away the pain, which causes it to be a lot easier, causes us to be a lot more comfortable, a lot more relaxed, so that when we actually go on stage, whether as a singer, as a speaker, or anything else, we give more of a peak performance because we took away the very thing that we were afraid of. We made peace with it so that we can go out there and go, oh, yeah, I got this. And if for some reason I stumble, it's okay. And the other part of this, because I know there's some people that are thinking of being speakers or being performers, and maybe you, when you go out with your hip hop and you perform live, and that's the idea that audiences don't really care. If I screw up in that moment, they may chuckle, they may feel sorry for me, but they'll forget. The only person that really remembers is me. And if I remember it with a learning experience, with a positive twist, and knowing that the vast majority of the 19,000 people there, if for some reason they didn't like me or my performance, or I screwed up in some way, they're going to go on with their lives, and they're going to be talking about whatever is happening the next day. They're not thinking about me. And that's the message I want to give everybody that's at home right now. Nobody's thinking about you. You're thinking about yourself. You're worried about yourself. It's all part of survival. But with all these different techniques and these questionings, the negative visualization from Stoicism, you can actually fortify yourself and go for your dreams with comfort and strength.